Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lucifer Within Us. The abbot is dead. Augustine is a suspect. Gideon is a suspect. And Virgil might also be a suspect. Let's get all the physical evidence before we talk to anybody. Let's head upstairs. See what we can find. Found a one of those weird devil herbs. There. The abbey has been cleansed of the devil's herb. Achievement unlocked, by the way. Devil's herb. The devil's herb? Sister Ada. Those appear to be pieces of cilantro. Do not speak its name. It makes me shudder just thinking about the disgusting soapy flavor. I quite like it with beef soup, personally. It's a bright, refreshing flavor. Enough, Virgil. Let's speak of this no more and return to the investigation. Alright, so that was just a weird side thing about cilantro. Okay, we found the organ, a massive musical instrument similar to the organ in the cybernetics tower. Which means Gideon probably knows how to play it. The west generator. This generator normally powers the lights and the aether restraints in the conjunction with its counterpart on the east balcony. It's been fried by some sort of etheric discharge. See anything else? We can please get over to the other side. Right, we don't have to go down and up. We can just stay up here. I see a hammer. Ritual hammer. Oh, to ring the bell. A two-handed bronze hammer used to ring the ritual bell during Mass. And the ritual bell. An old bronze bell rung during Mass. Okay, that didn't teach us very much. What do we have here? Cybernetic remains. Found near the power generator in the east balcony, overloaded and shattered to bits. Anything else over here? This generator normally powers the lights and the ether restraints as long as with the west balcony or west generator, so that's quite the same. Nothing different between the two, other than one being in the east and one being in the west. So let's head downstairs. Let's examine the body and the statue. Anything else that might be over here? Statue. A hanging statue. A hanging stone statue of Saint Walpurga. He was recently outfitted with a spear relic and suspended above the altar using aether restraints. And then the spear itself. Spear held by the statue of Saint Walpurga appears to have etheric mechanisms of unknown origin. And the body. Abbot Gregory was stabbed through the chest by the statue's spear while giving his communion mass. Okay. Well, let's begin our conversations, I guess. Gideon, I start with you. You're on the left.
This can't be happening. Yet another death? Am I to be blamed again?
Maybe. Let me ask you about yourself, Gideon. What can you tell me? Oh, can't talk to you just yet.
Calm yourself, Gideon.
I'm innocent. Even more, I'm a victim here. I was attacked. Surely that puts me above suspicion. You were attacked. By whom? Yeah, I asked you were attacked even before we said you were attacked. I couldn't see them. Whoever it was, they attacked me from behind. I was knocked unconscious until the guards found me. Or you happen to be hit by a large hammer? By any chance? Okay, so you were on this side. Let's watch your story.
At the start of the night, I was waiting near the organ.
Okay. That's not a lot of stuff going on.
When the Mass began, I played the entry hymn on the organ. I think I played well enough, though I didn't have much time to practice it.
So he is indeed playing the organ we thought he might be playing.
After the opening hymn, I listened to Abbot Gregory's sermon. It was a pretty good one.
I could fast forward this bit, but I'm choosing not to. Someone walks up behind you.
Praying together to Ein song.
And then they clock you over the head.
When the ritual of communion began, someone attacked me from behind. I fell unconscious until just now.
Did you? No, you definitely didn't see that happen. Alright, well, I guess that's true. They knocked you out, and then it looked like whoever that was came over here and messed with the generator, right? Person seems like they go over here, then the generator flashed. Yep, something happens to the generator, and then the lights go out. So if you really were knocked unconscious, that's a good alibi, but don't know about that. I'm Gideon Garamond, cybernetician. We met earlier today. I'll assist you if I can. I'm not sure my technical prowess is needed, but it's at your disposal. Well, let me ask you about all the items I have. The organ. Unlike the organ in my workshop, this one is just a musical instrument without any etheric purpose. It could not have affected the generators in any way, nor any other device. Alright, what do you know about the generators? The generators work in tandem to provide etheric energy to the chapel. Each is a backup for the other. If necessary, only one generator is enough to power critical systems. Alright, what about this ritual hammer? Is it what knocked you over the head? This is an old hammer with no etheric enhancements. As heavy as it is, it would be very difficult to damage the generators with this hammer. Alright, well what about the bell? The bell is older than the cathedral. Reuben used to make sure that it's well maintained. Alright, the cybernetic remains. You're a cybernetician, you can tell me what these are, right? These were found by the East Generator? Hard to say, but I would guess that it used to be an arm. It's a rather advanced model. We've only made these for the Inquisitors. It can discharge etheric energy to incapacitate someone. Only Inquisitors have it? Achievement unlocked, Chapel Investigator. Even supports remote activation. Useful for ambushing fugitives, I suppose. Okay, so I guess that means that Virgil, if Virgil was the responsible party, he could have left his cybernetic his arm over there. He could have knocked out the generator over here, triggered his arm to explode over here, and then they both would have went out. Okay, so the generators, you talk about the same, whether it's east or west. We hung this statue just last night. Due to its weight, we could only hold it in place using aether-powered restraints. Right? What about the spear? Reuben restored the spear for Walpurgis Nacht Mass using a blueprint brought by Father Augustine. So Father Augustine also kind of has the means to kill because he could have set this whole thing up. He could have set up the spear to be used in just this way. Did Reuben know that his work would be used for murder? I certainly hope not. I asked him about the body. May Einsof guide Abbot Gregory's soul. I'm glad his head is intact. Okay. The Inquisitor arm? What can you tell me about that again? As the Church's elite enforcers, Inquisitors are the only ones equipped with aether emitters in their arms. No one else could obtain an arm like this? Not in any official way. Theoretically, someone could sever the arm from an Inquisitor and directly cause the emitter to discharge. But that would require great knowledge of etheric technology. Well, I think we have someone that, I mean, there's you, but I think also Father Augustine has a good knowledge of etheric technology. And remote operations, what can you tell me about that? Certain cybernetic parts allow the user to temporarily detach them and control them at a distance. I wouldn't rely on it for delicate or sophisticated movements. Alright, well, let's ask you about your
At the
pieces.
start of the night, I was waiting near the...
That doesn't seem like you. You had nothing else to do than just wait by the organ? No, there was nothing else to do but wait. I practiced patience for once. Okay, then your hymn?
When the Mass began, I played the entry hymn on...
Was this the Hymn of Communion from Father Augustine? Yes, it was a magnificent piece.
After the opening...
What did the abbot speak about during the sermon? The end of Einsoff's silence. His excitement was obvious and contagious. I wish he'd been right. It'd be so much easier if I could hear Einsoff's voice when I was uncertain. And when you were knocked unconscious?
When the ritual...
Truly, you were laying on the floor that whole time? That's right. By the time I woke up, the pilgrims had all been sent away. Well, I don't have anything to really contradict you in this case, so I'll just leave. Alright, Virgil, I want to leave you for last. Augustine?
Ah, poor Abbot Gregory. We had such hopes and plans together. If only he had listened to your sage advice, Sister Ada. Perhaps he would be safe now,
Perhaps.
You. I cannot ignore that you are the link. Everything that has happened today points back to you, Augustine.
It must be a tragic coincidence. The abbot was my friend and trusted ally. I wished him no harm.
Not sure, though.
Explain your actions. What were you doing on the balcony?
How do you know he was on the balcony? Because Virgil said it?
With Mother Miriam's passing, Abbot Gregory needed someone to ring the ritual bell.
Okay, so that's why you were up there.
I volunteered. It was an honor.
Alright, let me see your story.
The abbot, Virgil, and I arrived at the chapel just before the Mass.
I want to ask you about that, though. Soon after the arrival, it seems that you went your separate ways? Yes, Abbot Gregory sent Inquisitor Virgil away to patrol the balcony floor. The abbot himself went on to the altar while I took my seat in the pews. Okay.
Inquisitor, prepare. When I headed to my seat for the Mass to begin, I was rather excited for the proceedings.
Saw somebody up there. Alright, let me ask you about this. What were you excited for? Tonight was the culmination of my labors. All of my scholarship pointed towards this moment. The spear, the statue, and the hymn all gathered in one place. Last, the ritual of communion could be performed. Of course I was excited. Okay, keep playing. Yeah, let's move forward. Actually, he says something. No. He doesn't say anything yet. I got ahead of myself.
We began by singing the hymn of communion. It was glorious.
Alright, the hymn. I'm going to ask you about that. How can I trust that you were not doing something else? Sister Ada, why would I be doing anything else at this time? I did not translate the hymn just to hear it sung by some pilgrims. No, I had to be part of this glorious moment. I was singing with all my heart.
When the sermon started, I headed to the balcony to prepare to ring the bell.
Alright, well let me ask you about that then. So this is when you arrived on the balcony floor? That's right, I was on the ground floor until then. That seems like that might become a point of contention.
I rang the bell to announce the start of communion. I noticed Gideon was absent from the other balcony, but didn't think much of it at the time.
You noticed he was absent. Okay. Is that just because he was on the floor? When you rang the ritual bell the first time, were the lights still on? Yes, everything seemed fine. Okay. Let's continue on.
I rang the bell a second time.
Alright. Then what? Seems that the lights went dark just after the second time you rang the bell. I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
Suddenly, the lights went out and the chapel was covered in darkness. I stood calmly by the bell, waiting for someone to fix the problem.
Alright. Why wait? Why not investigate the situation yourself? Sister Ada, not everyone is as nosy as you are. Besides, I didn't want to get in the way and ruin any precious evidence or incriminate myself somehow. Alright, so you stayed calm. Did you ring the bell again?
What is going on?
Why did you ring the bell again?
Makes sense.
When something happens to that,
Moments later, the statue dropped from the ceiling.
that's corroborated. We know
And
that.
I saw the abbot impaled by the statue. I'll never forget that image. That's when Virgil arrested me.
Alright, I have questions about the statue dropping.
Moments later,
You saw the statue fall then? Yes. Once the Aether restraints deactivated, there was nothing holding it in place at all.
and I saw the...
So you stood near the bell and waited for Virgil to arrest you. Why not try to escape? It's obvious that you would be a suspect. Because I had nothing to fear from Virgil. I have great faith in your abilities, Sister Ada. I knew you would prove my innocence, as you shall, if you examine the facts. Ironsoft guides you. Alright, well, let me ask you about all the things. What do you know about the organ? Magnificent instrument. Gideon's performance with it was magnificent. Fitting of St. Walpurga, I'd say. And the generators? Do you know about them? Couldn't see what happened to this generator from where I was standing, so you don't know anything about the west generator. Do you know anything about the east generator? Just before the statue dropped, I heard an explosion from this generator. Okay. What about the ritual hammer that you used? Anything interesting about it? This hammer is what I used to ring the bell. It has quite the heft to it. And the bell? A rather old bell. It may be older than the abbey itself. And what about the cybernetic remains? You see any of those? These were found by the generator? They must be what caused the explosion that I heard. What about the statue? I commissioned this statue for tonight's mass. After all, we are celebrating St. Walpurga's victory over Lucifer. Right, the spear? The spear of St. Walpurga is a relic that I unearthed in my research, though it was damaged. The spear is no mere decoration. It is a conduit to the Aether, so I hoped it would allow communion with the Einsof. I asked Reuben to make repairs to it, so it could be used for the Mass. How unfortunate that it was used for a bloody purpose, and on my dear friend. Let me ask you about the body. I'm sorry to do this. Stabbed through the chest by St. Walpurga herself. This killer certainly has a flair for the dramatic. Poor Gregory. What do you know about Inquisitor arms? So this is what Virgil used to save your life? Oh, we mean when the other lady was trying to eat me? It is fortunate the Inquisitors would only use such a device for good. It would be such a terrible harm in the wrong hands. And the remote operation of the device. Fascinating. I suppose this explains how a saboteur could have been in two places at once. Right, well, you know what? I don't have enough to contradict you on anything. So, Virgil. Sister, we must bring divine justice upon the sinner who killed Abbot Gregory. I only wish I could act as Inquisitor here, but I submit to your authority. This is what I witnessed tonight. Alright, well, tell me what you witnessed. Alright, already there's some things that are corroborated, verified. Alright, show me, Virgil.
We arrived shortly before the mass began.
The abbot ordered me to patrol the balcony.
Inquisitor, prepare.
As you command. I began my patrol by securing the east side of the balcony. I saw Gideon examining the ritual bell.
You saw Gideon examining the ritual bell? Gideon shouldn't have been over here. Alright, I have questions though. Did you notice anything about Abbot Gregory as you were arriving? The abbot seemed agitated about the chapel's security. He was eager to send me off to secure the balcony floor. Okay, I have questions.
I began my patrol by securing the...
While you were at the east balcony, did you notice anything strange? Nothing of note. The generator seemed fine, at least to my eyes. How... Can I contradict you already? Can I contradict you by saying Gideon said he was waiting by the organ, not by the bell? No, I guess that's not verified yet. So you saw Gideon looking at the bell.
Then, I patrolled the south balcony.
Alright, well I have a question about that. While you were on the south balcony, did you notice anything strange? No, I don't think so. I see what's-his-face isn't there. Or at least not there, not that we can see. So now you saw Gideon, right?
Everything appeared to be in order, so I ended my patrol and watched over the chapel from the south balcony.
Saw somebody here about to strike the bell. Alright, well I have a question about it. Why did you position yourself at the south balcony? It gave me a clear vantage point over the entire chapel, and that makes sense. Everything appeared to be in order. Alright, so that's...
As I heard the ritual
power goes
bell
out.
ring for the second time, the lights went out.
Are you certain about the timing, that it happened after the second bell? Absolutely, it was the second ringing of the ritual bell. Perhaps the culprit rigged something to the bell or the hammer that caused the lights to fail.
I suspected foul play, so I headed towards the west generator. Along the way, I discovered Gideon lying unconscious.
Virgil, what is going on?
I have a question about you finding Gideon, though. Gideon was lying unconscious? Why didn't you help him? As cruel as it sounds, I had little choice but to leave Gideon there. Culprit was going to strike again. I had to hurry.
To protect the remaining generator, I ran towards the east balcony. Along the way, I heard an explosion.
let me ask you about that. An explosion from where? Somewhere in the north end of the east balcony. It was probably the east generator.
Then, the statue's aether restraints deactivated, dropping and impaling Abbot Gregory. May he rest in peace.
So you saw with your own eyes that the restraints failed. That's right. Shortly after the explosion, the restraints flickered out, which caused the statue to come crashing down.
When I arrived at the generator, Augustine was standing nearby, smirking at the carnage he caused. I arrested him there and then.
You say you arrested Augustine here, but that's at a different location. Augustine said I was arrested near the bell. You said you arrested him near the generator. You seem certain that Augustine is the culprit. Did you see him sabotage the generator? No, I arrived too late for that. However, there wasn't anyone else nearby. It has to be him. So you arrested Augustine. Gotcha. Oh, well, I have to run through these to ask you all these questions, so tell me about the organ. It was an expertly crafted musical instrument. The acoustics in the cathedral are built for it as well. Tell me about the west generator. In order to unleash the statue, both generators need to be shut down almost simultaneously. How did the culprit cross between the balconies so quickly? The hammer has been at the Abbey since before I was stationed here. And the bell? Oh, I'm not done with that statement. Perhaps the culprit used it to attack someone or damage the generators. The bell is what we use for Mass. Abbot Gregory appointed Father Augustine to be the bell ringer. What about the cybernetic remains, though? These were found near the east generator? I have no idea what these are. And the east generator. Both generators need to be... Yep. Okay, statue. Father Augustine brought the statue here the other night. I thought it was dangerous to hang it above the altar, but Abbot Gregory insisted. He wanted to glorify Saint Walpurga. Tell me about the spear. This spear is what killed Abbot Gregory. Why did the statue hold it in the first place? And his dead body? Other than his crushed chest, there appears to be no other wounds on his body. Pretty impressive. Oh, we're not done with that conversation yet. The Abbot Gregory was in good health despite his age. Tell me about the arm. Inquisitors are imbued with portable aether emitters to enforce the will of Einsof. They are non-lethal, of course, but you can access it remotely. Gideon is correct that Inquisitors' arms can be operated from a distance. Truthfully, I haven't had a need to do so. I much prefer direct confrontation. Alright, I need to ask you some things. What did I need to ask you? You saw Gideon examine the ritual bell.
I began my patrol by securing the east side of the balcony. I saw Gideon examining the ritual bell.
I think I tried to do this and it said it didn't work. Yeah, because wait by organ isn't verified. So I want to then ask you a question. Actually, I want to leave you. I want to ask Gideon the question. Gideon, my friend? Gideon, I would like to contradict you. Virgil says he saw you by the bell. Lies, Gideon. Virgil saw you standing near the ritual bell prior to Mass. What were you doing? Really? I'm innocent, but perhaps maybe the attack damaged my memory. What you say does sound familiar. Did I misremember? Do I recall being by the bell? When exactly did that happen? Let me think. Okay, so we've really filled in a lot of his stuff here. So let's play it out. All right, Gideon?
Given the tragic events of this morning, I examined the condition of the east generator to ensure the safety of the chapel.
I could ask you about it. Did you discover anything strange about the generator? No, everything was in order. It's extremely unlikely that its failure was an accident.
Next, I checked the ritual bell. As I was doing this, I saw Inquisitor Virgil gazing at the altar.
You saw Inquisitor Virgil gazing at the altar. You saw Inquisitor Virgil? What was he doing? He walked to the overhang near the altar. I assume he wanted to inspect something. Interesting, okay.
I knew Mass was about to begin, so I headed back to the organ.
The path you took was via the south balcony? Did you see anyone or notice anything? Yes, it was easier than going up and down the stairs. I don't recall seeing anyone else. I guess Inquisitor Virgil was still behind me. As for Father Augustine, he must have been downstairs. I didn't see him. Okay. Well, you know what? I want to find out, what did we unlock? What do we know about you, Gideon? Shattered confidence. Gideon no longer trusts himself, questioning his own memory and competence. Perhaps he really did make a mistake after all. I've done nothing wrong, but I can't help worrying that I'm slipping under the pressure somehow. Alright, actually I do want to probably... Let's just leave this. I want to ask Virgil, actually. Virgil, can I ask you? If you came to about here...
I began my patrol by securing the east side of the balcony. I saw Gideon examining the ritual bell.
Yes, we have confirmed that Gideon did examine the ritual bell. Did you come over here like he said? No, you were not gazing at the altar. You turn around and go right back.
Then, I patrolled the south balcony.
Okay, so I have a question.
I began my patrol by securing the east side of the balcony. I saw Gideon examining the ritual bell.
You saw Gideon, but Gideon said he saw you gazing at the altar. Why do you lie, Virgil? Gideon saw you on the balcony, looking down upon the abbot and Augustine. I didn't want to distract you with trivial details. It's true that I was watching the two of them. I suspected Father Augustine was up to something. Right, so that fits your whole deal. So let's see.
At the abbot's behest, I patrolled the upper floor of the chapel. First, I secured the east balcony.
Okay. Go up to the east balcony.
I went up the balcony, but I listened in on the abbot and Augustine. I think they were discussing the ritual of communion.
Well, question about that. What did you overhear exactly? Abbot Gregory was lamenting the death of Mother Miriam and Isaac. Okay, that's it?
I was suspicious of Augustine, but I continued my duties by continuing my patrol.
Alright, well, I think that's all... Well, actually, I can learn your inner sanctum here. Wrath. Virgil has a strong, innate sense of justice, urging him to act and punish the guilty, provoked even more by today's events. Divine justice must be served, Sister Ada. By Einstoff's will, I shall punish the sinners among us. It is my duty and my pleasure, as it is yours, I believe. Alright, I want to leave you because I want to ask Augustine, because he said he was arrested near the bell, but that seems to be incorrect.
When I saw the abbot impaled by the statue. I'll never forget that image. That's when Virgil arrested me.
So you said you were arrested near the bell, but Virgil says different. Liar, when Virgil arrested you, you were not standing by the bell. You were standing near the generator overlooking the altar. True, but what does a few feet matter? You were the only one near the east generator before the statue fell. Perhaps you sabotaged it. Ah, I only approached the generator because I heard an explosion. I arrived after the sabotage, not before. Alright, what did we learn about you? Pride. Alright, so let's check out the arrest.
When the statue dropped from the ceiling.
Sorry, that's really loud. I ran to the ledge to get a better look. I hoped the abbot survived somehow.
But I saw the abbot impaled by the statue. On the other balcony, I could see someone looking down at the altar. That's when Virgil arrested me.
You saw someone looking down at the other altar? So Gideon may not have been unconscious the entire time? Let's leave that. Let's go to Gideon. Gideon?
When the ritual of communion began, someone attacked me from behind. I fell unconscious until just now.
Can I contradict you? There you go. Lies, you were awake, Gideon. After the statue dropped, Augustine saw someone looking down from the west balcony. Since Virgil was behind Augustine, it had to be you. What were you doing? Did you lie about the attack too? No, I really was attacked. I woke up just before the statue fell. I was trying to fix the generator. That changes your story quite dramatically, doesn't it? Alright, let's get over to when you were knocked unconscious.
When the ritual of communion began, someone attacked me from behind. I fell unconscious until just now.
I think we already asked you about that, but why should I believe you this time, Gideon? How do I know that there really was an attacker? Because it's true, do you really think I'd make up a story like this? If I were the culprit, I hope I would have told a better lie than this.
Sometime later, I woke up in darkness. I realized that one of the power generators must have been disabled.
Woke up in darkness. By the time you woke up, the culprit was long gone? Correct. Not that I could see much around me. The chapel's lights had gone dark while I was unconscious.
Virgil, what is going on?
So I headed to the west power generator and inspected it. It was completely fried. There was nothing I could do to restore it.
Clearly this didn't work. What happened? If it had been a minor malfunction, I'd have quickly fixed it by hand. Unfortunately, the circuit was completely fried, and there was nothing I could do.
As I was inspecting the generator, I heard an explosion from the east balcony. Then the statue dropped from the ceiling.
How did the statue drop exactly? It happened so quickly that I didn't see it myself. Presumably, somehow, the restraints had been deactivated. The only way that's possible is if both the west and east generators had failed simultaneously.
What? I peered over the balcony to see Abbot Gregory was impaled by the statue's spear. He was killed. I wish I'd been unconscious.
I had nothing to do with Abbot Gregory's death. I swear it. And what else did we unlock from you? Fear. Gideon is terrified that his involvement in yet another murder will destroy his reputation. He wants to find any excuse to blame someone else. Of course I'm afraid of being framed for murder. It would ruin everything I've meant for greater things. Alright, let's leave that. Gives me a save. I think I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. Even though we've made some good progress. We know that Augustine, he's not guaranteed to be taking a seat and singing a hymn at this point. He could be doing something else. He said he stayed calm during the bell ringing. Or after the bell ringing. We don't know. He could have been doing something else. Mostly Gideon is mostly safe. Like, we know he was knocked unconscious. So I don't think he could have sabotaged both generators that quickly. Maybe, but maybe not. But that'll have to be it for this episode. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you again next time.